Back in 1991, when the Ford Explorer made its initial debut on the automotive market, I don't think anybody envisioned what the refreshed 2020 Explorer was going to offer. Sure, there is increased cargo space, increased space for you and your passengers, new technology available, driver assistance package available that is going to be very helpful to keep you safe on the road. But I think the biggest changes of all, number one, there's a hybrid version available now, and behind me is the 2020 Ford Explorer ST, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Welcome to Vehicle Visionary. I'm at Orr Ford here in Stonewall, Louisiana, and of course I'd like to thank my friends here who always treat me so well every time I come in. They've loaned me this Explorer for the day. Let's get started and take a look at what's new. So let's just cut to the chase. What is the big deal about this ST? Well, it's found right here underneath the hood. It's the 3-liter engine putting out 400 horsepower. I'm going to tell you what, this thing can run, and I can't wait to get it out on the road. And there are multiple driving modes available. I'll list everything on the screen so I don't accidentally miss anything for you and show you what those are. And this motor is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. One thing I really like about what Ford has engineered into the Explorer is when you open the hood via the hood latch just inside the driver's side door, you're going to notice that it says 2 times. So when you pull that latch twice, what it does is it allows you to completely eliminate the need to look around for a hood latch underneath the hood. You just lift it up. One thing I wish that the Explorer ST did have is the struts to automatically raise the hood. Something that may come in the future, something you could probably have added if you wanted to, but that's something I personally would like to see. But you know what? If I was going to buy one of these, that would not be a deal breaker for me by any means. Another major change for the 2020 Explorer is the fact that it's no longer front-wheel drive. It is now rear-wheel drive, as it was in years gone by. And that means 2 things improve for the better. Handling is better, and it can tow more weight. 5,600 pounds when properly equipped is the max towing capability of the Explorer. The liftgate on the Explorer ST is fully automatic, so there are 3 different ways you can open that. A button on the liftgate itself, you can use the remote, or you can use the button on the interior just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel. You can also lower the rear seats here via the buttons on the right-hand side of the cargo area back here on the Explorer. They are manual for the middle seats, but the rear seats not only fold down automatically, but you can also raise them back up automatically. They're a little slow when they go down and then come back up. Not necessarily a big deal, but just something you might want to be aware of. If you want to find additional cargo space, the floor is actually a 3-piece floor here in the very rear of the Explorer. And one of the best features of that floor, I believe, is not only can you store things underneath it, but if you have something you want to put on top of the floor in this Explorer in the rear, you might say, well, I don't want to get that carpet dirty or something like that. You can flip that over and actually have a plastic floor that won't get dirty. You can wash that off. Just something to be aware of. When it comes to interior space, it has definitely increased from Explorers of days gone by. I do find myself with a reasonable amount of leg room in this middle row of seats. But in the rear, I found it to be a little bit cramped. But the good news is that you can move these seats forward and increase the space for your rear seat passengers. And getting into the very rear seats is not that difficult, as there is a button located on the top of both the driver and passenger side middle row seats that allow the seats to be moved forward. There's also a wonderful panoramic sunroof. I like that feature, and I know it is available on other SUVs in the same class as the Explorer, such as the Kia Telluride, but nonetheless, I like that feature. Okay guys, we're out here on the road with the Explorer, and I have to tell you what, not only is it just a great vehicle to drive, it's a lot of fun, it has absolutely incredible acceleration. It's kind of deceptive in a way how powerful this Explorer is at 400 horsepower because I guess it's just its size. It's not the largest SUV I've driven, obviously, in its class, but I have to say, when you look down at the speedometer after you've stepped on it a little bit, it's a little deceptive as to how fast you're actually going. It doesn't feel as fast as it really is. That is a lot of fun. Now, that's not all there is to this Explorer, obviously. It has some really great features, one of which is the available 10.1-inch touch screen, and I like the way that it sits vertically. I'd like to see that in more SUVs and more cars, more anything, cars, trucks, whatever. I really like that. It just seems better. It's not quite as large as what you would get in a Tesla, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't that many years ago when you didn't have a 10.1-inch touchscreen available in something from Ford. So I like that. That is definitely a home run. One thing that Explorers of days gone by were known for was having a pretty rigid ride, and being that this is what I would call a high-performance SUV, and don't let the shaking of the camera fool you, that's just the tripod, but I can tell you from driving this Explorer that I'm very impressed with how it drives and how it rides. It's actually very smooth for a SUV. That's another big improvement, I'd say. Now, I haven't driven an Explorer in quite a long time, so I don't know what Explorers of previous generations were like, but I must say I like the way this Explorer drives. It's very comfortable. I like the feel of the steering wheel. I like the way it just drives overall. Everything's easy to read. The dashboard just looks spectacular. I like the layout. I like the fact that you can change the modes. You can change a lot of different features depending on what you want. There are a plethora of driving modes depending on what your situation is, whether it's icy conditions or if you're towing something, if you want to drive in sport mode, such as what I'm doing right now, eco mode. There are so many different modes available, so let's turn around here and step on it one more time. I just cannot resist. This thing is so much fun to drive. Yeah, that is just a blast. Overall, I have to say, you and your passengers are going to love the Ford Explorer, whether it's the ST or whatever trim level you choose to purchase. This is an amazing vehicle. And that brings to a close my time with the 2020 Ford Explorer ST. I have to say, I really enjoyed not only learning about this vehicle, telling you about it, but definitely driving it. It is a lot of fun to drive. And we're starting to see more and more high-performance SUVs hitting the market. I'm wondering when we're going to see something that gets beyond 400 horsepower in the SUV category with Ford. Obviously, there's others out there that are well beyond even 500 horsepower, but not a bad start. I'm very impressed. Thank you for taking the time to watch today, guys. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure to share this video on your timeline and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you for your time, and thank you to Orr Ford for loaning me this incredible vehicle for the day. I will see you next time on Vehicle Visionary.